You know what? I've noticed that life throws up things in such unexpected ways and throws up such unexpected things. And when I say things, I'm talking about situations and what we might consider solutions to or answers to problems or questions that we may have. You know, I'm just sometimes baffled and sometimes amused and sometimes just thrilled by the way that things happen in life and show up, and of course sometimes I'm deeply troubled. Yeah, deeply troubled. And I had thought about sharing a recent incident, but I'm not so sure about doing that. At least not in this video. I'm not sure. Maybe I will. Who knows how this little sharing will evolve. But you know what was funny, and this is one of the reasons why I say life does throw things in such unexpected ways. I had originally, as I sat at my desk, thought of sharing you that incident, which I'm now having second thoughts about. But then when I closed my eyes in preparation for making this recording, just instantly, without any warning, the word forgiving came up. And I thought, oh no, I really don't want to be talking about this. I haven't prepared myself to talk about this, even though I have actually run little programs on forgiving in the past. But just today, trying to talk about forgiving, maybe because I feel that there is, that something, that life maybe, if we can call it that, or love, is inviting me to forgive. And in fact, I was in a conversation with some of my siblings last night, and I did, that theme came up, forgiveness, and I was very quick to, make my disclaimer that I don't think that I am in a position to, or that, never mind position, but that the idea of forgiving is, about pardoning someone, standing from a more maybe superior or righteous position, and being able to say to that person, or to think toward that person, that you've done something horrible and bad and la-di-da-di-da, and out of the kindness and nobility of my heart, I am prepared to forgive you. I have long abandoned that notion of forgiveness. So what do I have instead? Well, really, it is about restoring and inhabiting a new way of being in relation to the other person or the situation. I mean, sometimes, there are situations like governments that may not be kind and honest and integrous. And so, rather than standing from a more noble or righteous place and conferring, this pardon on people or things or situations, for me, forgiveness is about really restoring this natural peace that life is this natural harmony, that is the very nature of life. That's what forgiveness is really for me. And so I, you know, am I willing to restore and re-inhabit that natural peace and harmony? Absolutely, If I ask myself that question, then the answer is unequivocally yes, of course I want to restore peace and to inhabit that field of peace and harmony and love and joy and all the beautiful, gorgeous things that you know that restoration provides. So, yes, of course I'm willing, but what is that but about? I suppose the but is, being clear about it. In other words, the old ideas about what forgiving might be. Like, the person doesn't apologize, or if the person doesn't demonstrate some, contrition, some form of, I messed up and I'd like to make amends. I mean, those kinds of thoughts or expectations or demands still, contaminate the space of this idea, this desire to forgive, right? To restore the peace and harmony, because it sometimes feels like, well, how can I restore the peace? How can I be willing to step into that field of peace and harmony if the other person has not, made any gestures towards wanting to do the same? And here's what I've, come to understand, and not for the first time. As I said, I've run programs on forgiveness, but events in life often give us opportunities to review and reassess our understanding and our experience of what we had, previously understood and accepted as the meaning of something. And in this case, that something is forgiving or forgiveness. So yes, to that desire, which is so spontaneous and, as I said, unequivocal, that I want to return myself bring myself back into a state of peace and harmony. Of course. I mean, who would ever question that? But it can be contaminated by these old expectations and beliefs about, what forgiveness means. So here I am today, asking myself, are you ready, Luz? Are you ready? Are you willing? Do you really want to restore peace? And then understanding and realizing that I can do it regardless of what the other person is doing or feeling or thinking, or, regardless of their behavior. I can make that choice to step back into my natural state of peace and harmony. I can do that. And so realizing it really in my entire being, realizing that that's the choice that I have, and the choice is not contingent upon anyone else or anything else. It's entirely mine to make, and what a gloriously powerful choice that is. And am I willing to make it? Yeah. I mean, it seems so obvious, when you come to a point of clarity, it's blindingly obvious. And yet, it takes a kind of attention, takes a kind of presence, it takes a willingness to be present and notice and acknowledge how you are processing all this, what's going on in the body, what are the thoughts and beliefs that are surrounding and swirling around this. It takes presence to let all that just flow through and arrive, when it does, at a place where a lot of the noise clears and settles, and you can hear and see more clearly. Oh, I know that I have spoken, in a rather abstract way. I have not given you details, but really, do we need the details? I feel that you would know what I'm talking about without me having to thread it with details. So maybe this is a good time to stop and invite you, as always, if you're watching this and it gives you reason to think about things further, or to, I don't know, challenge what I have to say. And I don't mean that, I think you're going to challenge me aggressively. I mean to maybe question what I have to say, maybe question how you think about things. Please do feel free to share some of those thoughts and reflections or questions in the comments. And as always, wherever you are, whatever time of day or night it may be for you, I wish you the peace and the beauty and the comfort of life. Bye for now.